are they going to stop her now from raising funds? It's just that they continue to say that, this woman has been expelled from the party. People who respect her and respect the rule of law would not do business with her. Or you are not, if you love Liberty Party is in a coalition with CPP. So you have to send all your support here to the CPP instead of the Liberty Party in the name of Yombly Kanga Lawrence. That's all they can do, because Yombly Kanga Lawrence, senator, she's going to fight back.
Exactly.
She's going to fight back.
Exactly.
I saw the newspaper headlines where she said, where the story said, direct your attacks at me, but I'm not sure whether Madam, Kanga Lawrence is going to, go that low to attack Charlene. I think she would see it as Charlene looking for, attention, and I'm not sure whether she's ready to give her that attention, because if she does that, she will be seen as, by the Bassa people as going after the daughter of the late Charles Walker Bromskin. Exactly. That might not be too good for the Unity Party in Grand Bassa County. So I think she will be smart enough not to play to, the rules of Madam Bromskin. But I don't know how they're going to stop her. They're just going to keep making these announcements, and people who respect the party and respect the rule of law will just say, Yombly Kanga Lawrence, senator, we can do business with you, but there will always be loyalists to Yombly Kanga Lawrence.
But Titi, here is it. Yombly has just suspended the usage of the party's logo.
She got no.
I don't know what the party is going.
Talking about that, because it's just mouth talk, right? Talk is free, so people do that. But for me, she can't do that. She has no power to do that, especially given the ruling. So it's take for tack. She comes here, she comes to the media and says, I'm suspending the use of the logo of the party. And then Charlene Bromskin comes back and say, stop attacking Ability, come and attack me. So it's just take for attack. And, because it's news, we have to go.
Okay, so that's what happening in the Liberty Party as the crisis deepens in the Liberty Party. Today, Councillor Tier 1 Gonglo was stoned by unknown men wearing khaki. Now, this
why
he organized a march called the Anti-Corruption March somewhere Asma Street. They were up Asma Street, I think, going about their campaign. And unfortunately, where those guys came from, Titi, they started to throw stones at the councillor.
No,
yeah,
not a good thing.
And he
did he get hurt?
He escaped. I think he was protected.
Okay,
and he escaped.
Did anyone get hurt?
It has not been proven yet, but it was just not a good sanctity. I don't know what's your take about this.
My take is not a good thing. The political parties were at the Farmington that signed a declaration, and I see even NEC is calling all of the aspirants tomorrow again to make them sign a similar document that was signed at Farmington to make sure that all of their supporters are put under control. Mind you, our campaign has not yet started, and so we shouldn't take anything for granted. These kind of things should not be, we shouldn't be happy about these kind of things, and we need to stop them. They shouldn't be happening. If Councillor Gonglo had a anti-campaign, anti-corruption march today, because I saw it in the papers right after the CDC program. He announced that he was having an anti-corruption march. He didn't say exactly what for and what prompted that, but he just left it hanging. And so I don't think it was the right thing for people to stone him. It's good that we haven't heard that he got hurt or any of his supporters. Was the place jam-packed or what?
There was a gathering of people, Titi, and when you talk
about... Were they in the streets?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
They were marching to where?
It was a march. They were up where the place Asma Street, and this thing happened. I don't know where those guys came from.
Where were they marching to? Is my question.
It was a march. Probably they were not specific about where they were going.
So the guys just dispersed the crowd, or what?
Yes.
Okay. So I heard that he had a press conference.
Yes, he had a press conference. But in the press conference, he condemned the act, and he throws the blame at the government, saying that the government is responsible for what happened to him, because the government should have provided, security. But
did he ask for security?
Exactly. That's what I was
because
going.
No, before you carry out such a march or whatever,
Public awareness and stuff like that.
You have to go to the police and ask, for a security. You can just, and I know he had this press conference right after the CDC had that gathering on Monday. He announced that he was going to do a march on Wednesday. Whether he talked to the security forces, whether they approved that they were going to give him security is another thing. But he's a counselor. He knows the law. And this is not a strange thing. This is something that has been happening from time immemorial. Since Ellen time, since I've been hearing about people protesting, people always ask, the Ministry of Justice to give them security for them to do that. So if you went ahead to do a march without asking for security, then you're doing it at your own detriment.
Now, after he did that, and tried to blame the government.
Obviously, he will blame the government.
Yes, and but our concern here, TT, is that these times are difficult times. They are times that are very serious to strengthen the democracy of our country. More besides, people should get away with violence, should not get involved with violence. We're thinking about constructively building this country so the young generation that are coming up would see what these people are doing and how collectively they are ensuring that Liberia becomes a home for all. So we can't be getting involved with this brutal attitude and misconduct, misapplication of the rule of law. And I think the police should be on their light. Anybody who wants to try to disrupt the peace from any angle, the governments must stand in and make sure that peace, calm, and stability is brought to this country. And I think we condemn this from wherever it came from. We condemn it against Councillor Gonglo. It is not a good act at all.
Councillor Gonglo himself knows the law, and he knows better, and he should have done the right thing. In fact, too, it's easier to blame the government for everything, but if you know something, you do the right thing. If you know that you should call the government in, go to the Justice Ministry, let's call a spade a spade, do the right thing, because if you didn't do that and something went wrong, you will blame it on the government. I'm not saying that what the people did is good, but Councillor Gonglo is a lawyer. He knows what to do. He should have done the right thing, because anything can blow out of proportion.
These are political times.
Yeah,
exactly.
These are political times. So you do the right thing so that we don't get to where we got today.
More besides, you're having that anti-corruption campaign is almost in a political form.
It's politics.
Yes,
it's politics.
It's a political
campaign
for
what?
For what? For what? So you see, Councillor Gonglo, you yourself, you've got a part to play. You must be circumspect and understand that whatever you're doing now in these open spaces and political times must be at the consent of the government.
Okay,
today,
so let's move to something else.
Yeah, today there was this street interview by one of our local radio stations, Prime, about those people out in the street. We call them disadvantaged, right? And they hailed the government for the passage of the drug law. They were happy, they were overwhelmed with joy, and I saw that zeal, that willingness to express gratitude and felicitation to the government, and it was like blue today, Titi.
Gratitude, felicitation.
Hey, Titi, go ahead.
Okay,
forget what I teach.
So, we heard yesterday the civil law court fined the management of Spoon and Network, including 19 of its employees, guilty for contempt, and they were held in contempt for disrespecting the court order, including its officers on July 14. Judge Kennedy Peabody held them guilty with a fine of $1,000 against the institution and $300 each for the 19 employees to be paid in the judiciary's accounts within 24 hours. I don't know.
Yes.
Is it 24 hours now? After that, we'll see about that tomorrow. Too bad we will not be here tomorrow evening because it's the Golden Image Awards.
Yes.
And so it will be live on the radio and social media. So it won't be here tomorrow night. But again, we will talk about that on Friday, God willing. So that's something that has been trending on Facebook. And again, the National Elections Commission put out what is it? All the names, the preliminary listing of the candidates, presidential candidates who are running. I'm trying to find this on my laptop, and I was going through that.
Okay.
Yeah, and
so let's go through it and let's see what you got there.
I'm trying to find it now. You know, when you're looking for something and
I know you will find it.
I
know you will find it.
It just goes away. So it's the
brilliance
presidential aspirant summary report in not be small thing.
What is it there?
So it says here, you know, the name in the why is this thing doing this to me?
I trust your brilliance, Titi.
I beg you, Mr. Receptionist. So let's see the parties. We have one collaborating political parties. Wait, am I doing the right thing here? Nope. That is the wrong thing I'm doing here. This listing is not the right one I have here. So let me go to something else and then I'll come back to this. So we know that activities leading to the official July 26th celebration starts tomorrow.
Exactly.
And I know the Golden Image Awards is always a part of that also. So, you know, next Wednesday is 26th day, right?
Date. And 2 days after.
26th on you.
You know, 2 days after I'll be laying my father's church.
Oh, next week Saturday, next week Friday?
Exactly.
Oh, okay. Anyway, it is what it is. So we know that you're holding on very, very tight to even be here and still talking politics. You know, it tells, you know, the public that, you know, you're a strong man. So you will get over it. You're just joining us who, you know, have lost our parents. You still have your mother still with you. Some of us, you know, we ate our parents because our leave already. So that's what people can say. But anyway, it is what it is.
It is
trying to get this, but it's playing tricks. I mean, I just wanted to go rumble through the listing and see, because I don't see many female candidates.
I think only one.
Presidential, even the vice running mates, the females are not enough. They're not many. Let me not say they're not enough, but they are not many. You know, it's sad that they're not many, but it is what it is. What can we do about that? Not much we can do as a people. We're hoping that the national the people,
political parties.
the political parties would have, you know, respected what they signed and have more females, you know, running in the elections. But again, that's what we have. There's not much we can do about that. This thing is loading. Okay, so I have this. It says, we still got more time. It's
a little
10 minutes.
Let's go.
Let's see.
Let's rumble through it.
I see Appleton Junior, Edward Appleton. He's the presidential candidate for the Grassroots Development Movement. His running mate is Alex Gonti. We have Joseph Boakai, Unity Party, Jeremiah Cole, vice running mate. We have Brown, Allen Junior Brown, Liberia Restoration Party. His running mate is Newsvet Ajewia. I don't know what is the second Newsvet. Is it this is a female name, right? Newsvet Ajewia. Is it the second Newsvet that I know? I'm not
probably
sure
not
that. Wow, is it probably not? Cummings Alexander, collaborating political party, Charlene Bromsky, running mate, Simeon Fremont still survived this thing. He doesn't have 22%.
He's still sticking on that.
But that's what the Lord says. Movement for the progressive change. His running mate is James K. Barclay, Gongolo Say Tier 1 Sare, Liberia's People's Party. The lawyer didn't have 2%. He's still surviving this list. His running mate is Emmanuel Yapawulu.
Yeah.
And we have Lucini Kamara, All Liberia Coalition Party. His running mate is Matthew Dablo. Matthew Dablo is a former representative. The guy survived. He has resurrected to that of a vice presidential running mate. David Kaimu. David Kaimu is the presidential candidate of the Democratic People's Party. His vice running mate is one Annie Tuazama. So this is the first or the second female, right, as vice running mate. I don't know if Newsvet. I'm sure Newsvet. This should be third. Alexander Colley is Reformers National Congress. His running mate is Yancey Grace. Is it Grace Nyao? Hey. Okay. Sheikh A. Kuyate. Oh,
but you didn't know? You just noticed?
The Liberia First
Movement.
Hey, people, man.
That boy,
I'm telling you, his vice running mate is Max Vabli. And then we have Alima Kromam. He's the presidential candidate of IND. The vice running mate is Dekule Thomas Kura. Thomas Kura. Okay, say Richard Miller. Liberians for Prosperity. Hey, these names.
Hey,
running mate Emeki Slewen. Clarence K. Moniba. Liberia National Union. Grace T. Ban, vice running mate. Robert Morris, presidential candidate, IND. How? We have IND 2 times? Yeah. They got 2 IND and they just have it like IND. Yeah. And we see vice running mate as Cecilia Coffee Brown. So which one of the IND is Bendu Kroma and Thomas Kura? And you have another IND here.
The IND is probably the
independent candidates. Cyril. Yeah. Can you imagine that? Okay. So this is the prophetic ticket, right? Prophet Cecilia Coffee Brown.
Oh, okay.
Okay, Beslo Nyanti, she's the only female candidate, a presidential candidate. Beslo Sarah Yanti, she'll be our guest Friday, God willing, right here on Open Conversation. She's from the African Liberation League, and her running mate is Simeo Moriba. Then we have William Tudor. From the Democratic National Alliance. Yeah. And then Jonan Domui is his running mate. Then we have Joshua Turner, our Joshua who was here last night from the New Liberia Party. His running mate is Soma Pega. Then we have
Dr. Soma Pega.
They don't have any doctor yet, so I'm just reading it the way it is. I hear doctor. The next people, they didn't put any doctor.
Just go ahead, Titi.
Then we have Manin George Weah, Coalition for Democratic Change, Joa Taylor Howard, vice running mate, Jeremiah Wompo, Vision for Liberia Transformation. We have Erasmus Family as his running mate. And then the last but not the least, Luther Yofi. And the vice running mate is Pearson Juvenile Pearson. So those are the people who are contesting to be presidents in Liberia. Exactly. This is the preliminary list, aspirant preliminary list from the National Elections Commission. So it is what it is. Maybe we can go to the line and hear from those who are listening and watching via social media. And hear what they make of
it is what it is. So we talked about a few trending issues that has to do with Charlene Brown scheme. The one has to do with the attack on Tier 1 Gonglo and the celebration of those drugs users. And Titi said the one you talked about was what?
About the civil law code,
the civil law code and spoon.
Fine the
Yes. So the numbers to call are 0. It is 0514-096. The numbers to call. You will be part of the first segment of our conversation. This is Open Conversation with Washington and Titi Jibril.
You got to put it on there.
Yes. Okay. So
how are you doing this evening?
we're doing good, sir.
So the name is Alice Escona, a representative aspirant of District Number 5, Maswalo County, contesting on the Liberian People's Party ticket.
Okay, good.
And I want to appreciate you for the show this evening.
Okay.
The incident that happened today with our Senator, us on atmosphere, we condemn it strongly.
Okay.
Like you said, the Liberian People's Party is held by a legal group there in Council of Chawan State, Bungalow. We will not take on the street without informing the institution responsible to give us security. This country is a country.
When did you do that? When did you inform the institutions responsible?
So we did 2 communications to the Ministry of Justice. The first one was done June 26, 2023, and the follow-up letter was sent on July 14, 2023.
And what did the Ministry of Justice say to you in response?
To tell you, there was no reply given us. The venue that we used today was rented for the Morava City Corporation. That venue that we use, we will not be that illegal people that will go on the street to block the streets without getting permit from institution responsible.
You didn't get a permit if what you're saying is anything to go by. You said they didn't respond to you as a responsible institution. Hold on now. Hold on now.
Is what I'm telling you.
Hold on.
Alyssa, hold on, please.
You will talk. If you ask for a permit to march and you are not given that permission to march, why do you go ahead with it without getting the permission?
So Article 17 of our constitutional report states that all of us we have a right to assemble.
Totally agree with you.
We only inform the government that indeed we were going there and we needed that security.
Great. So you were asking them for security. They didn't give you the security, even though you know that the Constitution gives you the right. Yes, it gives you the right to assemble. I agree with you. But you knew all of that and you still asked for security. So if you didn't get the security, what was the next thing to do?
Informing them that we were assembling. So the father, even if I am a Liberian, if I assemble, it is the government right to provide that security for me as a citizen. That's their right. That's why they are there.
So a random assembly, right?
So if you are assembling, I'm assembling, the other people are assembling. Who does the government get? Does the government have the capacity to give everybody security at the same time?
Mama Titi.
Yes, Papa.
From Monday, the coalition of democratic change.
You haven't answered my question, sir. I'm not talking about CBC. Sir, I think we'll have to leave you like that. I think we'll have to leave you at that because no, that's not the question I'm asking you. Answer my question. You said
week. Just structure the government for this. CDC government.
No, wait, thank you for your comments.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
You.
We will not use the airspace for that. Let's grab this person. Good evening.
Good evening, Washington. And good evening to TT.
What's your name?
Is Black Brain Journalist. And this evening, I would like to play the devil advocate on your show.
Okay.
It is true that, yes, as a librarian, we have a constitutional right under Article 17, verse 10 more. But yes, now, the LPD is saying that the venue that they used in front of the Provident Baptist Church today, they rented that facility. They wrote the Ministry of Justice 2 different times, and then they never got response. And then they went to the library, the Monrovia City Corporation, rent that facility, and the Monrovia City Corporation gave them the go ahead to use that facility. So let's not say that because the Ministry of Justice never responded to them, so they never have the right to carry on their rally. So what if the Ministry of Justice take forever to respond to their letter or their inquiry? So what would they do?
So what is the devil advocate you're playing here? So let me ask you this question. So they pay for the place, right? They rented the place. The people are doing business. If you want to do business with somebody who wants money, they're going to take money from you. Knowing fully, well, hold on. You have already, hold on. So you pay your money, the person takes your money, they give you the building, but you need security, and you have not been given the security, or you have not been promised security. Why do you risk the lives of other people and put them out there, knowing fully well that you need security to have them there?
So if you are a journalist,
no. Hello, I ask you a question. Just answer. No, answer my question, then you make your point.
So let me just
answer my question, then you make your point. If you don't answer my question, you don't make another point because you talk off. So if you have people, you're putting people out there, you don't get security to take care of those people, then why do you put them there? Why do you risk their lives?
Here's the thing. It was not a matter of.
Thank you very much for being a part of the program. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Let's grab this other call here.
I think we're good.
We're good?
Yeah, I think we're good. Oh, I think we're good.
Okay, if we're good, then we are not taking calls. Okay, so I will now turn over to my colleague T, who will introduce our guest, because I think we're already against time, T.
Yeah,
and the conversation seems to.
Yeah, I know the people of the opposition and the people of Councillor Ganglo's party are not happy, and they will not be happy with me. That's fine, but we'll call a spade because he's.
Why do we not be happy with you?
Because I am telling them the truth. The truth of the matter is, you say you put in for a permit to march. Agreed, you put in for a permit. You have not been given that permit. You know the law. There is, recourse under the law. Do the right thing because you are a councillor. Do not risk the lives of people. Put them out there without security. Whatever happens to those people, you will be held responsible because you were not given a permit to operate. That's the fact about it. We're not going to be happy, but it is what it is. Okay, so we already have our guest with us in studio this evening. Dr. Jerry Fallow Brown is our guest this evening on Open Conversation. I told you earlier that we will be digging deep, like Isaac will always say, into JFK. That is the John F. Kennedy Memorial Hospital. The chief administrator.
Yep. So we have Dr. as our prime guest this evening, who is going to talk basically what's happening at the JFK, the John F. Kennedy Memorial Hospital. We're going to be looking into all of the different sectors in the hospital. We're going to be looking at the monumental developments at the JFK. He is pretty seated to talk more about the transformative, medical leadership that they've brought to the JFK Medical Hospital. So, Titi, no. I don't like the eyes you give me.
What eyes again?
I just don't like the eyes you give me.
Okay, I'm sorry, Mr. Weaver.
You mesmerize me with your look.
Really? Did you just say that on the radio? Oh my God. Doc, good evening. How are you?
Good evening, Titi. And,
You were not coming. You were not coming.
good evening, Titi, and good evening to our listeners out there.
Okay.
It's an honor being on your program this evening, and I'm excited to see how the discussion will be like.
Okay, so tonight we finished with the politics, right? And we are talking about JFK. I know sometimes JFK can be political, and it's good that we have Dr. Brown here. He will answer all of the political questions this evening. He's in a very hot seat this evening.
Very hot one.
Yeah, so now I'm going to go straight into it. What is the status of the JFK? What was the status of JFK when you took over?
Thank you very much, Titi. We took over the leadership of the John F. Kennedy Medical Center. That means it's center instead of Memorial Hospital.
Okay.
Because when we're talking about the institution, we're talking about the Tubman National Institute of Medical Arts, where when we took over the total enrollment of students, there were only 146 students. But now we have up to...
At TNIMA you're talking about, right?
The Tubman National Institute of Medical Arts.
You say how many students?
When we took over, it was 146. That was the total enrollment from the first year to the final year.
Okay.
Now we have a little over 700 students. So it means from the time we started to now, enrollment has significantly increased.
Okay.
So as to significantly contribute to the health workforce of the country. And that we think that's a significant impact we've made to the society. We've held 3 graduations thus far.
3 graduations.
Yes,
Okay.
the first were about 146, the next were 213, 225, and now we're planning to have 2 graduations this year, each class comprising not less than 200 students. So it means just with over the past few years, we brought on board many Liberians who wanted to further their education. The next era where we took over also was the ES Grant Mental Health Center, which is there on Duper Road, where we cater to.
So when Dad is talking about ES Grant, I'd like you to, put the pictures on the screen for the people who are watching via social media. Sorry, Dad.
Yeah, the ES Grant Mental Health Hospital, where we take care of individuals with different psychiatric problems. This was one of the institutions where
That psychiatrics.
psychiatrics are mental health problems, people with different mental health conditions, okay, which would be schizophrenic, people, I don't know how to bring that, but people with drug addictions.
Okay.
We've been thinking about how to get them off the street. And so, but when we took over the facility initially, we have both male and female assembled in one place. The entire building was dilapidated.
The ES Grant.
ES Grant,
Okay.
where bed capacity was a big challenge, and the environment was not even conducive for the patients themselves. As a result, we had to do a quick rehabilitation of the entire center, segregated.
When you say it was not conducive, I want you to, paint a picture.
About, and not being conducive.
Mhm.
For example, the bathroom was so horrible.
Okay.
Yes, and filthy.
Hmm.
There was no decent, ideal place for patients to shower. And that was contributing negatively to the well-being of the people, of the individual that was seeking care at the ES Grant Mental Health Facility.
Okay.
And so the very first thing we thought about was to rehabilitate the entire setting. One, separate male and female, because
They were all joined together when you took over?
Yes, and there was some basic social issues that we had to quickly try to handle. Okay, some of which we can talk about here, but we were so...
The men and the women were bathing in the same bathroom because they had mental health problems?
Yeah, so we had
Before then, right?
Yeah, before then.
Okay.
Okay, even the water supply was not appropriate. I mean, the water supply was of such that it was not healthy for them in terms of what they were drinking. So when we saw...
water?
Yeah, well water, but it was not a borehole-like system wasn't there.
So what did you put there? Borehole?
Yeah, we have now drilled a borehole,
Okay.
and now we revamped the entire area, provided a more conducive environment for the patients. We went as far as ensuring that we have an emergency room set up so that individual coming with patient with mental health condition in the middle of the night, we can now attend to them. We now have doctors attending to patients 24/7, so that unlike the past where we never had any emergency set up for emergency patients. So that's what we've done there at the ES Green Mental Health Facility. Now the facility is still small. We've taken up to like 80 to 90 patients now in terms of bed occupancy. And we try to...
Do you want to relocate or do you want to extend it? Because I see that the compound looks, a little bit bigger. So what are the plans?
The first thing, the facility being used is a private facility.
Private?
Yes, it's a private facility. Hence, we are renting. We pay annual due to the...
Okay.
Our plan is to first get back our land at Catherine Mills, something we've already gone through the legal process with, and we have deed to authenticate ownership of the land,
of the property.
Yes, but the level at which people have squatted on the land or taking portion of the land is going to make it very difficult. It's going to be a serious uphill battle to get our land back. However, the existing portion is what we are concentrating on now to see how best we can design a structure that is ideal for mental health and not what we currently have. It's someone building that we're just trying to manage to attend to patients the best way possible. Because even with what we've done, we still cannot segregate patients according to their ill conditions. For example, people with drug addiction should not be mixed with schizophrenic, or other mental health problem. But we have a situation where it makes it difficult to segregate them now because of space. So we have them all in the same environment. Or when the patient is recovering, having been attended to by the physician, we need to have step down areas. Where, because you can improve significantly, we carry you to another area because your condition is no longer like when we first took you into the facility. As a result, people are sent back home, and there's tendency of having increased relapse, thereby bringing them back for treatment. Then next to the mental health, the ES Green Mental Health Center, we have, of course, the maternity hospital.
The
Liberian
JFK,
yes.
Which one?
I'm coming back on campus.
Oh, okay.
So I started from the periphery.
Okay.
Now coming back.
Good.
Okay. Then we have the maternity hospital, where we receive the highest number of maternity referral cases, I think, than any other institution within Montserrat County.
Approximately how many a day?
We have up to 10 to 15 emergency. When I mean emergency, I mean surgical emergency.
Every day?
There are days where our doctors don't rest at all.
Wow.
10 to 15 what?
Emergency in some day.
Okay.
But on the average is like 8, I would say, on the average on the month. Okay. But we receive emergency on a daily basis from any facility you can think about. Within Montserrat and outside of Montserrat, we have referral from nearly all of the counties. Okay, but for maternal related cases, we have them coming from Cape Mount, have them coming from Bonny, we have them coming from the various districts in Montserrat County, Grand Bassa County, Margidi, are the major counties where we have most of our referral from maternal related complications. Then we have a neonatal intensive care unit, I would say, within.
So before you leave that, with that overstretch, overwhelmed by patient intake, will you recommend an expansion of a expanded new JFK facility?
Well, when we took over, considering the need, that was the very first thing we thought about. We've designed a structure. We have a structural design for the expansion of maternity. But currently we do not have the funding, but our thought is to make the maternity center a maternal care health center, a maternal child health center, where we will expand maternity either at the back or to the front, depending upon what's possible.
Okay.
But we already have a structure. We'll have a twin structure to be built at the front initially, but we don't have the funding. So that's why we've not done that, because we have situations, especially in the month of April, May, and June. We often have like 2 or 3 patients on one bed having delivered.
Why these months? April, May, June.
For some reason, we're trying to figure out why. Maybe July 26th could be one of the reasons.
The rainy season.
Count 9 months from July and see.
Oh, okay. The July 26th.
Why you get
at other facilities, and in order for them to survive, they have to be kept in an incubator or kept on a special condition and cared for over a period of time before turning them over to their mother. If you don't do that, they all die.
But do you have space for many babies born with that condition at JFK?
Yes, we don't, because most often we get overweight.
Wow.
Especially with the outborn. We have baby born in other facilities and they are referred to us.
Oh.
And we have no option but to accept them. Because one thing, JFK cannot refer. The question we often ask ourselves is, we are referring to whom are we going to refer patients? We should be like the final end for referral within countries. So if we're referring, it should be like referring out of Liberia. And we have the only, the other thing that makes us unique to accommodate these young babies is the fact that we have a pediatric training program where we're training pediatricians, pediatric doctors.
Who are pediatricians?
Pediatricians are doctors that are trained with the requisite knowledge and skill to take care of young babies. Or take care of children.
You're training them where? In Liberia here?
We're training them right at JFK through the postgraduate training program. Okay. And so we have a lot of them that are trained to cater to these babies when they are brought back when they are referred to us. And that put us in a better position. Recently, we got additional incubators from Honorable Sir Joseph and his partner. I think that has increased the number of incubators now we have within our unit, so as to attend to more and more babies. Then we go to Memorial Hospital itself, which is the John F. Kennedy Memorial Hospital that you were referring to.
So with everything is the center, but with the hospital now, it's the Memorial Hospital. Okay, I get that now.
So you have the John F. Kennedy Memorial Hospital.
So when we're referring to all of them, then we say John F. Kennedy Memorial Medical Center.
Medical
Okay.
Center. Okay.
It's the medical center.
Okay,
So
inclusive of all.
yes, where we now have the dialysis unit being incorporated now.
Okay.
Yes, so we have the Memorial Hospital where, which is the largest arm of the institution.
Mhm.
When we took over newly the urgent care, which is at the entrance point, at the entry point of the hospital now, the 20th Street entry point,
Mhm.
was the only outpatient service area that we had. Rooms, and it was pathetic for some of the things we saw when we took over newly. You be in a consultation area where while the doctor is consulting the patient, you hear everything in the other consultation room because there was no privacy. Okay, at one point, what struck me most was the fact that at one point, while in the OPD, and were administering injection to another patient, you could look through and see what was happening. And so we felt there was inhumane. That was not decent for.
How long did you think and experience that has been happening for?
That was
before he took over.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Well, I don't know how long that lasted for, but I know when we took over in February 2018 up to like March, July, that's how
you met it.
That's how we met it. Okay, and thanks to the president for giving the 150-day funding, and that funding is what we use to immediately begin to transform situations at the hospital. The very first thing we thought about was, no, we must have a decent outpatient department.
Is that what you call the OPD?
Yeah, that's the OPD. That's what is being shown now on the screen.
Okay.
Okay, that's our outpatient department. So the outpatient department was not functional when we took over. The first thing we thought about was to rehabilitate the.
It was not functional. So where were people going to see the doctor for the first instance?
There were some patients at what we call the urgent care. What we use now as our pediatric outpatient department was the general outpatient department for the hospital. When you enter from 20th Street to your right, there's a little building to your right there that we have labeled pediatric emergency. That's what we have. That's what we encountered initially when we took over as the outpatient department.
Okay.
So our first goal was to fix the outpatient department that had not been rehabilitated for a long period of time.
Okay.
So the 150 days deliverable was one of the key things we thought on doing. So we revamped the entire outpatient department, creating 17 consultation rooms.
17?
Yeah, 17 consultation rooms, so that you can have all of the doctors in different specialty functioning simultaneously.
Okay.
And that enabled us to see up to more than 1,000 patients in a day. Okay, we put that in a better position now, unlike in the past. So this is the outpatient department. This is the corridor of the outpatient department, fully air conditioned with thing, and we have decent bathroom for the outpatients, and these are the doctors, the patient. We have a good environment for consultation. Okay, and from the this is not the outpatient department, Sarah. What we were just showing is our feature private ward.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
the feature private ward.
The feature private ward. We get the later on. So when we did that, that kind of changed the entire picture of the institution. And the reason why we decided to focus on the outpatient department as well as the emergency room, because these are the gateway to the institution.
Okay.
No one gets admitted into the hospital without coming through our outpatient department or the emergency room, because that's the first area of contact. So we thought on getting those places ready first.
Yeah, giving it a facelift.
So we did a medical ER as well as the outpatient department. Okay. We could not do the surgical emergency because we never have funding then. So we focus on those two with the little resources we have, and then move ahead. The other thing we encountered was We have 9 operating theaters at JFK. That is how the institution was constructed. But when we took over, it was only 1 operating theater that was fully functional.
You have 9 operating theaters, but when you took over, there was only one functioning properly.
Yeah.
What was happening to the other ones?
Where the others had not been rehabilitated for a long period of time, there were mildews on the wall, leaking roof, and
what does that? What signal? What does that tell you that you have 9 operating theaters, only 1 is operating? If you have, how many persons can you take in an operating theater at the same time?
It's 1 person at a time. So if you had 3 emergencies, you can only attend to 1 at a time.
So before this government, the operating theater would take only 1 person because that was only 1 functional.
With immemorial, sure. It was just 1. So our next goal was to see how we could rehabilitate the operating theater. And so for several reasons. 1, patient safety. If the environment is not safe enough and you operated someone within such an environment, there's a high risk of post-operative sepsis, person get infection. And despite doing a very good work, the patient gets infected and then died. So that will also help to improve patient outcome. And besides rehabilitating, the next thing was to equip it with the things we needed to make them function. The standard we wanted, we have 4 functional now.
Only 4?
Yeah, plus the pediatric theater, making a 5 functional operating theater upstairs. And then we have 1 functional theater downstairs adjacent to the intensive care unit, but which of course never existed when we took over. There were no intensive care unit when we took over as well.
So you made 1 there, you've added additional 3 or additional 5.
Yeah.
Okay, so you got 6 now.
Yes.
So you still got 4 to go.
We still have 4 to
but
go.
Massive progress though. Why is it, why you can get all 9 operational?
So,
is it expensive, or what is the problem?
Rehabilitating the operating theater is not just doing infrastructural development.
Okay.
Having done that, you have to equip it with the necessary equipment to make it functional. Because an operating theater is just not a space. Okay, you need to have the right operating theater light, the operating table, the right anesthesia machine, the patient monitor, the suction machine, the electrocautery machine, and many other things have to be there in order for a single theater to function appropriately. If you don't have all of those things within there, then you can't possibly call it a functional theater.
Okay.
So having a room that you refer to as an operating theater, but not equipped to offer the services needed, doesn't make it functional.
I agree with you.
Yes, and also having it functional also require having the right manpower to also function within the space. So to have a functional theater require both the space, the equipment, as well as the manpower and supplies.
So you have manpower now to operate those facilities now?
To a greater extent, I would say no. We don't have all of the manpower to have all of them functional. We still each area concern is still a problem, and it comes from different background. 1, we took over without having any anesthesiologist, meaning individual to put the patient to sleep when we are operating them. We have only nurse anesthetists. The nurse anesthetists are those trained to function as anesthesiologists in the absence of anesthesiology. So they also help to put the patient to sleep and or make the patient pain-free during the time of operation. But what we've done, we brought in additional 3 anesthesiologists consulting to work with our team. And the goal is to ensure we establish a training program while they are around to be able to train our own. And while that is done, also we've encouraged younger Liberians who are now in other country on ongoing training to be trained as anesthesiologists, so that when we can't afford financially to retain those we've hired that are currently serving as anesthesiologists within the institution, we have our own Liberian coming to kind of replace them tomorrow. Okay. So that was the next place we focused on, the operating theater. And after the theater, we then realized that we're having too many trauma patients, trauma from motor vehicle accident, motorbike, and falling from height. And so our next thought was we needed somewhere more ideal to take care of our trauma patients, because there were instances where many of them came and there was no space to take care of them. And what we had was just a tight room about the size of where we sit now. And it was difficult having 5 or more patients attended to. So in partnership with the government and through NOCA, we identified a space that was rehabilitated. And now we have our trauma unit, which takes up to 20 to 25 patients within the trauma. It has 2 extensions. And while rehabilitating the trauma unit, that was when we thought on ensuring we have at least one operating theater adjacent to the trauma unit, so that very critical patients
can just be taken there.
Yes, and attended to, especially where we often have situations periodically with our elevator not being functional. At it has some mechanical wear and tear and it doesn't function. With all of the theaters on the 4th floor, you have to have an alternative so that when you have emergency and the elevators are down,
smart enough,
you can still attend to patients and don't say
that's a good move.
That's a good move. Yeah, so we did that, and one of my biggest joy since we've been at JFK is the establishment of the intensive care unit.
The ICU.
Yeah, the ICU, the intensive care unit.
Well, you didn't have, there
was no existing intensive care unit.
That big hospital, when you took over, no intensive care unit?
No, we had rooms referred to as ICU, but it were not ICU. A room is not an ICU. So we had rooms labeled as ICU.
Is that the ICU there?
No, this is the trauma unit. This is our trauma ward.
Okay.
Where we have that was rehabilitated. It was a space rehabilitated through the support from local and the government.
Okay, so that's the trauma unit there.
Yes, we have the trauma unit now.
Okay, good.
We take care of accident patients in.
Okay, so I want to see the pictures of the ICU. The pictures up there, I'm sure are the.
Yeah, these are ventilators within the ICU.
What do you do in the ICU?
In the ICU, the intensive care unit, we take care of very critical patients that cannot be managed either on the wards. So if there are patients on pediatric ward that can't be managed, or maybe deteriorated from a stable state to a very critical state where it's now life-threatening. Without acting, the person will die in the next few hours or so. I quickly rush to the intensive care unit, where they can't breathe for themselves. Then we have to take care of their ability to breathe and breathe for them.
Okay, so you help them breathe with the machines, with the equipment you have.
Yes, so hook them on the machine. The machine does the breathing for them, while we give medication for the body to recover and come to the point where it begins to
stabilize.
Yeah, function by itself again and breathe for itself.
So then I go back again to you. Before you took over, there was no functioning ICU. So what happened to people who were in that kind of state, when they were taken to JFK then?
You were never at the mercy of God, or you just died.
Wow. So that was the normal thing of
so what happened your ICU. What can you say about it now? Because I hear you say it's one of your greatest joy.
Yes, it's one of my greatest joy because I see that most of the critical patients we now are encountering are surviving. Okay, people who in the past would say there is no hope for survival and will just die, are making it true. Okay, as a result of the availability of the intensive care unit. Okay, and so we that brings joy to us because our primary goal is to see how best we can save life. That's our primary goal.
You spoke about the ICU in the past where you said they had rooms, but there was nothing there. How did you manage to improve those facilities? What did you bring there? What are some of the things you added there to make it very, very much better?
In the first place, the areas that were identified as intensive care unit were rooms or wards meant for patients admission.
Okay.
That were just maybe had a monitor in it to monitor the patient vitals, and then critical patients were put there in a teneto until if you make it fine. If not, then we give glory to God. Yes, until we then decided to transform the previous trauma unit. It's what we worked on and transform it to an intensive care unit. Yes.
Oh, okay.
Okay, with 8-bed capacity. Okay, but as it is for now, we still working on it to ensure that all 8 beds are fully functional, because we have like fully functional for now, while we're working on getting.
Do you feel complete at about the moment? Do you feel achieved?
No, not at all. As far as I'm concerned, for I and my team, we still feel we've not done half of what we want to do. We've not reached even the 50% mark yet.
What's the score right now? What's the score?
Well, in terms of where we want to go, I would say maybe we're around 40%. Still have 60% a long way to still go. If we have funding, I tell you.
So where are we going now from the ICU?
From the ICU, from the intensive care unit, we then work on to have the dental department fixed. I don't know whether you saw the dental department, and we rehabilitated the dental department in collaboration with partners. Okay. The other place we went was the laboratory, and one of the things one thing that made us to see to look into the future and feel we had a challenge, and come what may, we had to overcome those challenges. The fact that our institution was one of the first institutions the president visited when he took over.
Okay.
And we toured JFK length and breadth, and we could see how dissatisfied His Excellency was when we toured the institution. And looking into his face, it was like, how do we bring joy to the people? Because if the president himself is not happy about what he was looking at, it meant we needed to work harder than ever before to bring the institution to a standard where not only the president, but the people coming there for care will be happy about what they're seeing, the environment and what they're saying. The laboratory was another area we went.
What is that there? Is that
so this is our laboratory now.
Okay.
The laboratory was have been down since the Civil War. Yes, and it was not until we took over before we managed to rehabilitate the laboratory in collaboration with our partner Preview, USAID, and the government of Liberia. That's how we got the laboratory rehabilitated. Now we can do.
Why is it important to have a functioning lab at a hospital?
Well, to provide good care for the patients until having a very good diagnostic capacity. If you can't identify the cause of the patient ailment, it becomes difficult to make the right decision in managing the patient. 60% of our decision making comes from the history we take from the patient, and another 40% will have to come from investigations. So if you don't have a good diagnostic capacity, you end up missing a lot. You end up doing empirical treatment, which may not be appropriate for the patient's well-being. And so having a external lab setup was one of our utmost goals. So we work with our partners, and now we have the laboratory set up where we can do chemistry, biochemistry, and do our general chemistry, do hematology, and many other things for now. Okay, so the lab was another area that we thought on to get going. Initially, what we did was before our partners came in, we transformed our doctor's lounge, the doctor's dining, to a laboratory. Yeah, to begin from there.
So where were the doctors eating?
Well, we just had to plead with them to get to let
So
that go for
a while.
for a while, and then most of the doctors now were using either the call room and other places to.
So that I know you took over JFK under, this government, but there are people still at JFK who you met there and they're still at JFK. Where were they doing all of these things? No functioning lab. Where were they, carrying out, where were they carrying all of those, specimens to test them?
Well, if you look around JFK, one of the reasons why people.
Can you please speak to the mic?
When you look around,
Can you help me? Yeah.
One of the reasons why you may have people trying to build laboratory here, there, Ghana, is to take advantage of our inability to do it.
Okay.
Oh, okay. So
Yeah.
that's why we have some labs around.
So
Okay.
if you can't provide it,
Okay.
then people build around you to ensure they take advantage of your
inability
to provide a service.
Oh,
And so
okay.
patients will have to leave the hospital and go to the places, get investigation done, and come back with the result.
See.
Before you took over, that was the way of life. Where if I went to JFK, I'm going to do my lab somewhere, and
that
then
was not
bring
the troubling part about it. Before people when we took over, Jamali never existed, which is one of the top laboratory within country for now. So in instances where we fall short of reagent and are unable to do certain investigation, we still do refer to them in or some basic laboratory around. Okay, so that was the situation. But what was troubling was that the laboratory we inherited, just like a room where all of the investigations were done in that little room. So there were high risks of cross-contamination, results not being accurate, and then the wrong
giving somebody result to another person.
So all of that was happening.
So we had to fight to get some of those things under control.
Okay,
but that's how we started, and it has been challenging. It's easy to say, but it hasn't been easy to get to where we are now.
And that's why I was thinking that how did you manage to build a team to get all of these things done at the hospital?
Yes, I must tell you the truth. It all happened primarily as a result of teamwork.
Okay.
First, by doing everything possible to bring the workforce on board. Like when we first took over, our goal was to see how we can encourage the workforce to buy into our ideas.
Okay.
And so our vision to them. And once they understood what we were talking about, like talking about patient safety not being appropriate and telling them it over and over. So we have to fight to ensure we have the right environment for patient care. Or whatever laboratory investigation we're doing here that's not the right environment. We need to get the right thing. So for every time we saw our ideas and vision to the team and the body, as we plan to execute, they all ran with it. Okay, and people came on board and supported the idea. That led to us achieving many of the things we have today. Because there are things we did by asking only the workforce, the local team at the hospital to do.
Okay.
Yes, and yeah, in many instances we ask them to do, and some other at other time we allow the partners to do it.
So that I want you to talk about, that what is it called, VIP and the children. How do you call the place for the
Okay, the
children?
pediatric theater.
Yes.
Okay, so this is a laboratory where we do chemistry. That's our laboratory lab manager.
Mm-hmm.
Then we went on to for the VIP. How the idea of the VIP came about is the fact that JFK, once upon a time there was this ECOWAS Parliament program ongoing.
Okay.
And then one of the parliamentarians that was brought in country at a hotel fell off.
In Liberia here.
Yes, and it was rushed at JFK. It was embarrassing for me to not have someone ideal to take care of a foreign parliamentarian. Though we have the right manpower to attend to him. So we placed him somewhere in the emergency room. We had a little room there that we call private door. And I didn't want to look at it. I don't call it a decent private room. But we held him there, held him there, attended to him. There was another lady another parliament from the sub-region, took care of her. They all went. Then came COVID, where some of our dignitaries too were getting infected and brought over. It became difficult to care for them.
Where did you care for them?
On the general ward.
Government officials?
Yes, on the general ward, with other patients.
Okay.
And that became embarrassing.
Okay.
So we said to ourselves, this can't continue. Although we don't have the money, we have to think outside the box and see how best we can find a means of attending to our own. Like once upon a time when the President Motoki was involved in an accident, we were like, how many persons have been referred to us from that Motoki?
And where you will put them?
Who are the individual? And how are we going to safely take care of them?
Wow.
On bringing them to the hospital. And these things were things that kept bothering us. And we said, no, there has to be, something has to be done. I remember whispering in the president's ear once when he went to visit us, and I said, Mr. President, there's one thing troubling me. Today, if I have to handle you, if I'm not saying you should get sick, but just in case we have to manage you temporarily until we refer you somewhere else, I don't have the space. And for me, as the head of the teaching and referral hospital, I felt it would be an embarrassment. It would be an embarrassment if it was even to be admitted in another facility within Liberia. Still be an embarrassment. Okay, so we feel we must fix our VIP wing. Okay. So we decided to look around to find means of getting finance to get it done. Of course, we engaged the parliament at some point through our presenting our budget and trying to engage other parliamentarians to get support. At one point, I brought some of the parliamentarians from the house to the hospital, put gowns on them, and carry them around the hospital so that they see things for themselves. And perhaps through that, they may support our budget to give budgetary allotment to get it done.
Exactly.
That too wasn't happening, and we tried to engage some of the ministers to make them to come and take a tour and see what we had. Then we said, look, we can still find a means of getting it done. So we look at our internal revenue generation, our strength as an institution, how much we could generate. And then held discussion with our finance officer and said, can we at least put aside a few amount to give it to somebody monthly if they fix this place for us? And looking at our revenue, our ability, we realized if we could put just 5,000 aside on a monthly basis, we can engage somebody to fix this place and then obligate ourselves to paying them over a period of time of 2 to 3 years.
Okay.
And so that's how we then went through the PPCC process, put it into the newspaper, and see whether we will have any vendor willing to pre-finance the rehabilitation of the private ward. And the first person there was a company that came, we spoke with him, but the term of agreement was not conducive for the institution, so we let go. I think another one applied also, and we sat down, look at the term of agreement, and we think that was fair enough. We could try to pay him back over the period of 2 to 3 years. We accepted, and that's how this group called Millennium Construction won the bid, and we turned it over to them, and that's what they've done for us.
Okay.
I'm sorry if you're watching this program on the internet, you will be very, very excited that we have this kind of private ward at JFK. How many rooms here?
There are 20 rooms, but there will be 17 to be used for patient care, because in there we have room for lecture, because our institutions are teaching institutions, so we have to have a lecture. We have a pharmacy, and we're going to have a what we call a break room for our nurses and staff that will be up there. Okay. And at the further back, we have the VVIP, okay, which we
where you can carry even the president or the vice president, right?
Yes.
So what do we have? What is it made of? These rooms. What do you have there? You have the bed. You have what?
So in each room, we're going to make sure we have a patient monitor.
Okay.
So that they're all self-contained with their own washroom.
Okay.
And we're going to have a patient monitor, all of the diagnostic tool that you need to assess the patient, to do basic patient assessment, are going to be in each room, so that we don't share blood pressure machine, we don't share suction machine, we don't share patient monitor. We're going to ensure all of those things are placed in each of the rooms, so that once you're in a room and we have come to provide care for you, all of the things we need to provide care will be right in there with you. Okay. And so once you leave in, then we disinfect those things and have it ready for another patient that may come. Okay.
I must appreciate you, Dr. Brown, for this. And this initiative is very, very huge. And to even think about taking it from your own budget to do that, it will only take,
it tells your willingness.
A person who wants to see everybody, healthy. Let's talk about the children place.
Oh, the pediatric theater. Yes, the pediatric theater.
Did we have one before?
That, to my knowledge, the pediatric theater, you see it up here, came about as a result of again offering free pediatric services to a lot of children with congenital cleft deformity. Cleft deformity, deformity where the child is born and has a split in the upper lip, and or have a hole or defect in the roof of the mouth. And we started doing operation for those type of children at JFK free of charge.
Okay.
So our partners that we're working with, SmartTrain, visited and realized we never had an operating theater exclusively for children. And so we wanted something that would be pediatric friendly, meaning it has warmer to take care of the children, because the children's body surface is very smaller and they're quick to suffer from cold or hypothermia. So you have to have a bed that is made with warmer, everything that will keep the child conducive.
Oh, the beds are made with warmer.
Yes, has warmer, everything in there, so that once the child lies on that bed,
they just feel so good. They don't want to go home.
Yeah.
So that theater is entirely pediatric friendly, and this is one of the things we do often. We don't ask our partners for money to give us the money to do the work.
Okay.
We tell them what we want.
Okay.
And monitor the work, allow them to use their money and invest it so that they too are satisfied with what they've done. So, for example, the pediatric theater, when we negotiated with our friend from SmartTrain in or Kids OR, we told them we wanted a pediatric theater that will be a replicate of what you may have in Great Britain or what you may have in America.
Okay,
So-
I know we'll soon go to the lines, but let me ask you this question. Tell us something about the status of the DNA machine, the CT scan machine, your eye care center, dialysis machine, and other critical equipment
So-
of care. And again, my next question would be, can you do blood transfusion and other critical care at JFK?
Good, thank you. So some of the services we offered at GFK, I guess that's what you want me to talk about.
Mm-hmm.
We have one of the best eye care center within Nigeria.
Okay.
Okay, the Elfi Prasa Eye Center, where we do cataract, they do cornea transplant, and we do glaucoma and many other. In fact, foreign bodies are removed with children with cancer in the eye and all attended to at the eye center. So we're doing a lot of great job.
Okay.
That's not only that, but we also, through the art department, are offering free art services, assessment to schools and other children in the community. We're working with the team to see whether we will start contemplating on elementary schools to see whether we can start assessing the children's eye. And
Okay.
make sure we identify their visual problem before they grow
Early.
older.
Yeah.
Okay, at the early stage. Then from there we have a CT scan. We have an imaging wing that has 2 rooms to accommodate an X-ray machine, and we have the CT scan, which is 16 slot. Though we're looking forward to see whether we can have a better one, because nowadays people are talking about 64 slots. 32 slots, and we're still down there with 16, but we have faith and we hope.
Okay.
Which we definitely show that we're going to get a city with on a larger scale very soon. And then within the imaging department, we also have an ultrasound scan. We have 2 radiologists. Again, both of them are foreigners because we don't have any Liberian practicing radiology in country for now.
Do we have people outside learning,
We
practicing?
definitely have someone ongoing training now, again with support from the government.
Okay. So the government sent. So you got people outside. You got doctors outside.
No, we don't have doctors who sponsor now. We're looking for doctors to go for radiology training.
Okay.
We don't have anyone now that we know of ongoing training for the hospital.
In that department.
Yeah, that area.
But do you have others out from
Yes,
JFK?
definitely, we have a lot of doctors out there ongoing training through the Liberian College of Physicians and
Can you speak to the mic?
through the Liberian College of Physicians and Surgeon program, the
Okay.
LCPS program.
Okay. So you have not the dialysis machine. Is it working?
The dialysis machine, definitely, that is one of the greatest strengths we have now in country,
Okay.
where individuals who had to leave the country before to get dialyzed in other countries don't have to leave again. I think we're doing a very good, magnificent work there now, and we're getting people cured from their renal diseases. The only thing we're thinking about is having Liberians trained
To use it?
not to use it, but we're thinking of transplant. That's what we're thinking about now. So,
You're doing blood transfusion?
yeah, we do blood transfusion on a daily basis.
Okay.
Okay.
Good. Congratulations.
Yeah, blood transfusion.
What are your limitations now at JFK?
Yeah.
What are our limitations? One of our biggest challenges is still space.
Space. Okay.
Space, because as you offer good services and people get to know the value of what is being offered,
They
you
keep
have
coming.
an increase in
Yes,
people coming
exactly.
for care. So that's not surprising. Okay. So despite the criticism, despite what people said about us, we still have a huge influx of patients coming on a daily basis for care. So space is a critical issue now we have.
Mhm.
The other thing has to do with drug availability.
Okay.
The availability of drug. One thing we keep having is frequent drug stock out.
What does that mean?
Frequent drug stock out meaning for every time we purchase specific key medications,
Mhm.
over a period of a week or two, we run out.
Wow.
And one of the reasons is that many of the people, a good number of people coming for care at the hospital are unable to pay. They consume the drug, are unable to pay for the drug, and it makes it difficult to replenish.
Wow.
The second
difficult stuff.
Yeah, the second factor is some of the drug cannot be found locally. Yes,
You gotta import them.
Yes, you can't find it locally. And the next thing, if you found it, it's very expensive.
Wow.
Now, take for example, there's an antibiotic we often use that is sold in the local market for $40 for one vial, just one. It's $40. If I bought that and took care of a patient and then used 10 on him or her, that's $400 for you to recover, and that's only for the antibiotic. If I decide to sell that antibiotic to you for the same price I bought it for, that's $400 alone you should be paying for
the antibiotic.
For the antibiotic, not for BST, not for other things that we use.
Hospitable medical attention.
No, just for the antibiotic.
Just for the antibiotics.
Yes,
Wow.
It costs you $400 for 10 vials. Okay. And when you told someone this is it, it's like
hell.
Get charging
It's like hell.
Yes. I mean,
yeah.
Why are you charging me such amount of money? But you don't know the value of the medication that's been administered to you that enable you to recover. Okay, so supplies is a big challenge. The other challenge we have has to do with human resource capacity. We have limited amount of nurses when it comes to our nurse to patient ratio. We have large number of patients for a nurse to take care of. For example, on the maternity ward, we have instances where you have one nurse attending to like 20 post-delivery patients. Time is difficult. Or one nurse attending to 12 post-cesarean section patients.
Why is that? You have a lot of people graduating from TNIMA now.
Yes.
Why you still have that problem?
You don't just take them on. You have to have money to pay them.
Can you talk to them like that?
You can't just take them on. You have to have money to pay them. And if I don't have the money to pay them, I can't recruit.
Then that means they walk away.
Huh?
I mean, they go.
Who go?
The folks from the TNIMA.
Well, the folks that we train at TNIMA are not meant to have them all employed by JFK, because JFK does not have the capacity or does not have the financial capability to employ them annually. So I'm not going to say assure them that for every time you graduate, we'll incorporate you into JFK as an employee.
Wow.
You have to first go through the CSA, and of course the Ministry of Finance have to agree that she has the funding to pay them. Other than that, I can recruit. Else you may end up working and be unable to
you're not being paid. Then
that's another crisis.
Then we put JFK on a different crisis. People start seeing JFK all in the news for not paying people. It becomes embarrassing.
Because
so your human resource capacity, it should be at what a level, if you were to say?
Well, we take for example, we have a workforce of around 1,000 personnel in different categories, with 932 persons on the employment payroll, and we have like 34 nursing staff that are volunteers, meaning they're not on payroll. We try to compensate them for the services they render.
To get small compensation.
Yes, from internal revenue
generation.
Yes, just to help to fill the gap.
Exactly, we know what you understand.
Yeah, but even with that, we still have gaps.
Approximately, you should have how many? If government was to say, we're going to give you all the staff you need, so your level should be what, 1,005 workforce?
Sure, around 100,000. Let's say 1,005. For nursing staff, is the most critical of all of the other staff. For example, the operating theater we're talking about, where We have the 6 operating theater functioning just in memorial beside the one we have in maternity. We need approximately 88 staff to have the operating theater fully equipped.
What was the staff level when you got to JFK?
When we took over, our workforce was far less than what we have, around 700.
Okay.
So there has been significant employment over the period under review.
Okay.
And that cut across. We talked about consultants. The number of consultants we have now never existed before.
Okay.
So we have people in different disciplines compared. And one of the things that has been our strength is the training program, where we have residents in different departments that are significantly contributing to the workforce.
Okay.
Yes. Out of the department.
I know we have to go to the
Yes,
lines,
we
but I
just
want to
about to
ask
let you
you
know
this question before we go to the lines. Sometimes JFK, comes under attack for neglecting patients. I know you cannot be everywhere in the hospital at the same time, but what are you doing to address some of these these kinds of complaints? What did you do, or what are you still doing to address these kinds of complaints when they come?
Okay, so at JFK, we have what we call the ethics committee.
Okay.
And we also, so when there are grievances brought up against our staff, we send them to the committee for investigation. We also have our human resource department that does our own investigation into those complaints that are brought forth. We put out numbers that people can call whenever you got offended by any of the staff or to get redress immediately.
Okay.
We're now working on having someone employed entirely for customer service. And that person number is going to be available at all times, so that 24/7 you can call the customer service officer and report a case or incident at all times. At some point, I made my personal number available, but it became almost embarrassing now that people kept calling me.
Okay.
And I think my deputy said that was not a good move to allow your numbers to be around for people to get hold of you. But the three of us, especially the three of us that are in leadership, as much as possible, accept complaint whenever people call to complain about.
Have you penalized any of your staff?
Definitely, it ranges from dismissal to suspension.
Okay.
Yes. I think before we go to the line, have you ever had this experience of people infiltrating politics into the work you do at JFK?
When you say infiltrating politics, I don't understand well. But the thing is this: we try as much as possible to allow the role we play at JFK void of politics. Okay, because one thing is that we are there primarily to care and attend to anyone with any form of illness, irrespective of your background, irrespective of which group you belong to, irrespective of what your political ideologies are. Whenever you are injured or you have any ailment, you came to JFK, we saw you as a patient, number one, as a Liberian citizen, and someone who needs care, and we give you the best of care as much as possible. And don't relate it to who you belong to or where you come from.
So are you saying here that, JFK is a different place now under this government, that opposition figures can go to JFK and get the best care?
We've attended to opposition. We don't look for people because you are opposition or because you belong to a party.
Okay.
When you come on JFK for care, we see you as a patient. We don't see you as belonging to XYZ party. So even our workforce, we discourage them as much as possible not to wear party emblem while you are working. Okay. So someone doesn't come and saw you with XYZ party emblem and feel offended and doesn't want you to attend to him or her because
she or he doesn't belong to your party.
Belong to your party. We have to create an environment where everyone will feel safe.
Okay.
And know that we're there to care for you and give you the best care.
It's a non-political ground.
Non-political
It's a medical ground.
It's
So let me
a
move you
medical-
there.
yeah.
Let me move you there, Dak, and then we'll go to the lines, and then we'll take some of your concerns. You've listened to the doctor. He's currently providing all of what you need to know about JFK. The numbers to call are 0880-514-096. When you call these numbers, you'll be live and you'll place through your concerns. Let's go to the lines. Good evening.
Hello, good evening.
What's your name? Where you call from?
I'm Kalmati Vayu calling from Police.
Go ahead quickly.
Yeah, I want to say the new things to that the ground for many efforts. But then I have no questions. If you go to the hospital, you prescribe drugs, you buy a drug, coming back to your balance medication, the nurse or the nurses will tell you that you shouldn't come in with it. Is there a law there? Please, I want to know.
Thank you very much. 0880-514-096 are the numbers that we will take your calls. Let's grab these calls. Welcome. What's your name?
Good evening. My name is David Garawisha, and I'm phone from the Babuya Avenue this evening.
Go ahead, David.
I want to thank the doctor, Dr. Brown, and the entire leadership of GFK for the tremendous work they are doing at the GFK. You know, it is all of your efforts that you combine that make up the all over progress of the president that the people are hearing and appreciating the president. It's because of the team that the president is working with that is making this progress. So I want to say thank you, doctor, for the progress he's making, and I want to check for you to bring people in the best future. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Let's get this caller. Oh my God. Wow. 0880-514-096 are the numbers to call. Let's see if we can get this person. Good evening. What's your name and where you call from?
Good evening. This is Pastor Davis on this receipt.
Pascal, go ahead.
Yeah, well, for me, I think the president didn't make a mistake. You know, President, we are before we say this is in the interest of our country. And I don't know what Mr. Brown did. If I'm doing the Ebola, the coronavirus, he's still very tour. I think it was based on his performance that the president brought him on the bigger picture, on the bigger stage. And so he went at JFK. We have made tremendous effort. And I want to say, let us not feel so complacent. Let's do what is right. I know there are challenges, but in due time, we're going to overcome these challenges. Then we keep working for our people to ensure that we can have a better healthcare. Can you just, I didn't really follow the show, but please give us an insight of the Embryo Hospital in Bagudu. Thank you so much for the show.
Good evening. What's your name?
Thank you. Let me say thank you to the doctor, the studio, and I joined the discussion this year from this to six as we could go. You know, I probably disagree with the medical doctor. We run a facility there at JFK before during the Unity Party time that seamlessly we were able to bring doctors from South Africa and other countries to serve at JFK. But when you ask the doctor in studio that nothing he said in the past was good in JFK. So when you get a letter Dr. Bresh, Dr. William Bresh, you get a letter or Dr. Augustin Fania, these are doctors who are working at JFK, Dr. Dennis, and others.
So why you didn't have during the Unity Party government? Why you didn't have a functioning operating theater?
But it doesn't so different to function.
Hello, Bobby, you're not forced to call to talk on every issue.
No,
It's very disingenuous on your part.
Have you worked in JFK before?
Thank you.
You have not worked in
Let him go. Let him
JFK
go.
before. Good evening. What's your name? What's your name? Where you come from?
I'm Chris D. Kamal, calling from District Number 9 to be precise.
Go ahead, Chris. You have 30 seconds.
No, congratulations. The Boston Institute that Cherry Fallow Brown for his numerous development at the level of JFK Medical Center. One thing I listened to in all measure, I think that they are on the show, is the pathology lab. It's the first time at JFK have a pathology lab.
Yeah.
I think you mentioned about the pathology lab.
Okay, thank you very much. I think
These are development. They say the senior management team. These guys are developmental oriented. These guys know that the president was making no mistake to appoint the brand as the CEO and Monsieur Gama getting over the deputy CEO of administration and Sia Wata Kamara as the chief medical officer. These guys, these are transforming JFK from what, every time they talk about negative things at JFK, but they don't know the positive things at JFK bring to the brain people.
Okay,
JFK is a hospital of choice. These are people that transform the hospital.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. We understand these palatable statements. Thank you. I think you were just.
Hello?
Yes, go ahead.
My name is Sako calling from Israel.
Go ahead.
I want to ask the doctor. There's one journalist went to the hospital. According to the report, he said the mortuary kilogram is
Did you hear him?
go close to that.
The mortuary.
Oh, the issue with the mortuary.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's hold you there.
What are you doing? Why are you doing that, boy?
Okay.
It's true.
So let's hold you there. We won't take calls. I think we have roughly about 6 more minutes. Doc, can you respond to them within, I think, 4 minutes?
Yeah, thank you. Let me start with Sako. Sako, the journalist, perhaps at the time he visited, yes, the odor around the morgue might have been an issue. Where about a month ago, we had a situation where our morgue units went by from electrical fluctuation, but it's been fixed. If you went there tomorrow, you realize that the morgues are functioning very well and there is nothing like odor. I would appreciate the journalist who went there at that time to revisit the hospital tomorrow to see things for himself. The lady who called earlier about the staff refusing to allow you to take your drug back home, having purchased it for your patient, I think that is wrong. Whenever you have such a situation, please have it reported. But
have you ever heard that before?
I've not heard that, but if it is happening, you need to report it. And then this is one thing we really want to encourage our client and those visiting the hospital to please do. Every Monday, we thought on establishing a program called Inside JFK on ELBC so that we can get the views of the public on how we can improve the institution, because we all don't have the same idea. And then we also have it as a means of in having the public to report incidents that you may experience at the hospital and you don't want to say to somebody. Make use of our radio program, 1 o'clock on ELBC every Monday. Come, say, air your view. And the first Monday of every month, you have administration coming on radio. Somebody from administration, either one of my deputies will be here, so that you give your question, you ask your question, you give your opinion. We are open to criticism because for us, that is how we've managed to improve things around us. Okay. Yes, that is because then, like one of your colleagues on one radio station was referring to JFK as being dirty. I said, fine. I mean, what I would have appreciated from him was to come to JFK and identify the things he's referring to as debt, and then come with suggestions on how we can solve the problem. That's how we solve the problem, not just saying it on the radio. And then let me tell the other brother I said earlier, who said I never talk about any good thing about the past administration. No, I did not say everything done by the past administration were all wrong. I'd never made any such statement like that, because you have the night surgical team that were introduced by the previous administration. The night surgical team have operated several persons through the past administration and continue to work with us even with this current administration. That's a significant impact that team made to many in Liberia. And the mark is still there. Many Liberians who benefited from that free surgical outreach are out there and can still testify to it. So there's not everything. We're only talking about those key issues that were that we decided to transform because they were not having significant impact in patient care. And that's our focus, and that's what we're talking about. We're not discrediting anyone because of X, Y, Z, but what we're talking about is making things better for all of us. Okay, for all of us. Today, it could be you coming for care tomorrow. If there's no intensive care unit, can anybody tell me that there was a functional intensive care unit prior to our administration? Now I agree. I will accept. Just convince me that it did exist. I'm not still discrediting anyone for not having it prior to our coming. However, we saw it as a need, and everything we see as a need, we strive as much as possible to have it done. And before I close, let me say that whatever has happened at JFK is all as a result of teamwork.
You didn't talk about the pathology.
Yeah, the pathology,
the pathology lab. Yes,
I thought you got it down. Let's talk about it very quickly.
Yes, the pathology lab is the only laboratory in the Republic of Liberia that is capable of doing tissue diagnosis.
What does that mean?
What we mean, if there are lumps and bumps on someone's body or someone was operated and they extracted tissue from the person, before then, you have to send it out of the country to get it tested.
Okay.
But now, it doesn't have to leave the country. All hospitals around the country can send specimen to GFK and we test the tissue to know whether it is cancerous or not cancerous. Unlike the past, you have to send it out of the country. Isn't that a significant?
That's a great improvement.
Yes,
very great.
Yes, before you have to send it out of the country, and thanks to again partner, there's partnership with others and getting it done with support from government. Okay, before we never have pathologists. Now to have our own Liberians trained and coming back as pathologists,
it's another improvement.
We need to heal that. Okay, so gradually we're going to ensure we get the institution to where the institution ought to be. Before the Civil War, it was a beacon of hope. People left other countries and ran to Liberia to get care at JFK. So we're looking forward to making JFK. That's what we challenged ourselves from the beginning. As soon as we took over, the slogan, making JFK the hospital of choice.
Okay.
Is what making us
JFK the hospital
that means you have a huge responsibility.
Yeah, I like to know, the sea was encroaching on and local residents were building all behind the hospital. Have you been able to address that?
No.
The tag live.
No, I've not been able to address that. They are still there, and I think that is another political ball game I don't want to go into.
Okay, so
I don't have the ability.
A part of your fence fell before, right?
Mm-hmm.
Is it still the same?
We fixed the other one, and now we're fixing the front fence now. The front fence
I think the one by the 20th Street side going down.
Yes, we fixed that.
Yes, and I saw the concrete. It's very strong.
Yes,
very strong.
Yes,
but the sea is not encroaching on your fence.
No, the sea is far away from us. Okay. Yes, so we're doing the front fence now.
Okay,
hoping to get the front fence ready by the end of next month to get the front fence.
So that wall, that VIP place there, when is it going to be up and functional?
Well, we are working very hard to see whether we can get the VIP ready to go by our Founders Day, which is the 27th of July.
27th of this month will be on next Thursday.
Yes, we're doing the best
to be functional.
Wow, that's
great.
Yes, I mean, we have challenged ourselves to ensure that by the 27th of July,
great,
we start admitting people on that ward.
That's good.
Okay.
Okay, that. So, T.
We take that as your parting comments, or you wanted to stress something?
Yeah, I mean, I just want to extend my sincere gratitude to you for inviting us, and also say thanks to the president for giving us the opportunity to serve. We highly appreciate him. He's the current chancellor of the institution. We want to say thanks to all of our board of directors, members, who, whenever we carry our suggestion, proposal to them, they kind of support it and approve of it. Because without them, we wouldn't have had many of the things we're doing. Want to say thanks to our partners that are working along with us and working to see JFK become a better institution. And again, want to say thanks to the workforce for their dedication, the services being rendered, despite the challenges. We're doing the best we can to move ahead. And again, let me not leave by saying thanks to our critics. We appreciate the criticism because they help us to grow and become better.
Exactly.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Jerry Fallow Brown, thank you so much for, taking up the time to come and sit with us and talk more about JFK. And let me say thank you again to you for transforming JFK. And I know I see,
thank you to
the
us.
exuberance in you, to make JFK. Yeah, to you and your team. And I know you want the best for JFK, and you respond to these questions like a true humanitarian, somebody who wants to always see people alive and healthy. And I think that's what, any better hospital needs. You are an administrator who, when your phone rings, you answer and you want to make sure that somebody gets help because they need to live. You go in an operating theater and stay there for hours, and then when you get out, you're still tired and you see a missed call on your phone, you have to answer and call that person back and say, I was in the operating theater. How many operations do you do in a daytime before you get exhausted?
No, I'm not actively involved in surgery like before because of the administrative engagement.
But we're doing all the surgeries now.
No, at least once in a week we try to get involved, get my hands wet. I have competent surgeons that are already in charge of things and making me lazy.
Okay, really? They shouldn't make you lazy.
They are making me lazy. I'm kind of envying them, but periodically I have to force myself on them.
You're the boss now,
so you can be like, okay, I'm going to do the surgery.
No. I will appeal to them. Can you please
allow me to do the surgery? When you guys are talking about surgery, it's not left with the patient, right? The patient will not suggest who's going to do the surgery on them.
Well, at times we allow patients make decisions in terms of who they want to be the surgeon.
Okay.
Yes, but in most instances, the person who consulted the patient most likely be the one to do the surgery.
How many surgeons do you have? I thought the program was over.
Today, you're carrying the program back.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
It's been wonderful having you this evening on Open Conversation, and we look forward to having you some other time to talk more about JFK. Washington?
Yes, and I also want to say thank you to you for giving me the opportunity, like the dad always gave his people the opportunity to the hospital, for giving me the opportunity to drive the seat tonight.
Okay. So tomorrow we will not be here, God willing. It's the Golden Image Award ceremony, and so we carry it live. We bring it live to you from where it's happening. We know the celebrations of the July 26th kicks off as of tomorrow. But we'll be here on Friday, and we have the only female presidential candidate,
as
our guest on Open Conversation on Friday. So we see you on Friday when we see you, and have
certainly. We see you when we see you. Have yourselves a good night.
From the east to the west. North to the south, let's come together. I go. They say you're not there, we stand, if I there, we fight. If we not celebrate, we do it for you. While you forget it, you from Lower County, you from Maryland. While you from Rewa Cess, I'm a bad way on your tree, I walk on the fine way. Tabila, I